If you look at the industry today, we are facing several challenges across total end-to-end supply chain. If you look at how COVID changed the way that we do business today, more and more consumers and suppliers were looking towards e-commerce basically to sell their goods, sell their wares, reach international markets. But that together with that has brought a new set of challenges because actually the e-commerce is continuing that upward rise. But from a cybersecurity point of view, it's exposing them to risk within their supply chain. But if I then focus in a bit on extreme weather, now it's very often we talk about extreme weather, we look at the highs of heat and deluges of waterfall. But we often tend to forget on the severe droughts certain parts of the world are facing. And why are severe droughts impacting our industry? We just have to look at the Central European example where the Rhine River basically connects German manufacturers with basically access to international trade. Several times over the last year that's faced low tides where it's having to move traditional feeder connectivity via vessels to road, which is instead of having one vessel on a particular network, you then faced with thousands of trucks replacing that one vessel.
Yeah, there's certainly many challenges, some of which we've never seen before. And from a shipping perspective, we've come out of an era during the pandemic and with recent global conflicts where suddenly the supply chains were very restricted. Freight rates went through the roof. People couldn't get enough slots on ships. And then we started to feel some recovery, but then all of a sudden consumer confidence is knocked in the head. Interest rates go up, prices increase, there's an oversupply of vessels, and then things head the other way. So, I mean, cycles have always been there in the shipping industry, but at the moment we're facing some of these new challenges with change that's come about that means that adaptability is more important than ever before. We really need to be able to be more nimble than what's been the traditional stable type shipping environment because these shocks keep coming.
If you look at the internal resilience, I think is one of the most important attributes as an organization, as a customer, as a consumer, you need to embrace as an organization. Looking towards utilizing technology as predicting potential risk within the supply chain, I think that's ever more important in our industry. So one thing that I think that these recent events has taught us that we need to innovate, we need to collaborate. We need to ensure that we find multiple ways of getting our goods to the end marketplace. Through ports, obviously, we look towards facilitating trade. But we now have to look at the total visibility from the first to the last mile and ensure that we're actually covering all those essential steps in the ecosystem.
Technology has certainly been a big enabler of change and driver of change. And whilst our industry is sometimes seen as very traditional, if you look over the last 50 years in terms of how much our industry has changed, it's been enormous. And globalisation has been able to benefit from the huge changes in our industry, and so change will continue to evolve and the industry will continue to evolve, and I think it will be an opportunity that provides some of these problems to be solved through the application of technologies. And I think the technology that's now available along with AI and learning, digitalisation, is going to allow us as an industry to evolve and make that next necessary step change.
Let's now talk a little bit closer to home and what we're doing as an organisation and what are the positive highlights of the AD Ports Group. And if you just look here locally and what we're trying to establish in Khalifa, where we're developing world-class infrastructure and superstructure. If you look at why we're doing that, obviously key to the success of the AD Ports Group today is our customers. We often refer to our customers as partners, and they are really partners in our growth and in our story. Khalifa Port is providing a 360 ecosystem in the entire capability in one location. World-class container terminal, world-class general cargo terminal, world-class liquid bulk facilities, oil and gas facilities. And if you look at how that benefits the trade and the economy of Abu Dhabi as well, is we have one of the largest industrial free zone areas in this region, and just adjacent to us is KEZAD. Connectivity is not just by sea, it's not just by land, but now we're also talking about connectivity within the UAE of world-class railway through Etihad Rail. So we've also got rail is also being added into our capability, and this infrastructure and superstructure that we're actually building and investing in is providing a platform for all of those customers to do ease of business and trade within Abu Dhabi. It's providing a platform and security where customers can flourish 365 days a year.
Obviously, we're at the crossroads of world trade here in this part of the world, and what AD Ports Group's been able to achieve, building around the core of Abu Dhabi with the 5 clusters that we've got, each growing on their own, but at the same time growing together, because it's that connectivity between the different businesses which further enables trade, not only for the businesses themselves, but fostering trade and helping our customers grow. If our customers don't grow, we're not going to grow. So being able to find that connectivity between the various clusters and be the enablers of trade has really been a fantastic growth story for the group. So what we now, in terms of solving some of those problems, find ourselves being able to do is pull together the pieces that weren't previously there. So we can start to add to customer requirements some of the north-south routes that weren't necessarily there before. We can add the missing connections that weren't necessarily there, smooth some of the friction that was there in terms of their trade, not only the physical but also the digital, because moving goods from A to B is not just about the physical goods themselves, it's also about what we used to call paperwork, but now it's digital transactions, of course. If we can make that smoother, we're taking out friction, we're taking out costs. So all of those pieces pulling together enables and facilitates trade for our customers, which is what it's ultimately about. It's pretty powerful to be able to sit across a customer and have the full suite of products and multiple opportunities to be able to provide to them. Because that builds in resilience into their products, because again, circling back to the full challenges that have been with us in the last couple of years around supply chain, having those multiple opportunities means that you can deliver across whatever unforeseen circumstances are there. We've had a lot of success centred around our geography here, but it's been fantastic to be able to expand beyond that. We now stretch as far as the Med, to Asia. We've even got some port concessions in Africa now. So we are now a truly global organisation, which is fantastic.
We've created the foundation basically in Abu Dhabi within the UAE, and now we're basically building upon those blocks internationally. And that's just going to add the next layer of value to our customers, and access to worldwide trade. So yeah, it's really exciting. I'm just looking forward to the next chapter, as I'm sure you are, James. And great discussion today, once again.
Absolutely.
Thank you, James.
Cheers.